Well, there's a new poll that just released, and it will blow your mind. It really will. It's actually very, very huge. Now, we're not just going to talk about the poll today. We're going to talk about what the UK leader and the Canadian leader is trying to push Biden into. It's a pretty big deal because it shows that who's actually leading our country. Kind of blows my mind. Not only that, we're going to talk about how Dollar General and Ferrari have something in common. Just what I talked about with the melt-up is represented in those two things. And you know how economists and Democrats, they try to push that Trump's tariff situation is a bad deal that would raise the prices here, and how Trump is pushing for lower taxes and more tariffs. They're pushing against it, but all of a sudden, guess what just happened? Biden and Harris just put tariffs on new imports from companies overseas. Just what Trump said. So they're taking it again from the Trump playbook. What else are they going to do? No tax on tips. Trump playbook when it comes to imports shows that who's really smart when it comes to business and growing America. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. Now remember, we do a giveaway each and every month. All it takes is you subscribing, commenting on the videos, and give us a thumbs up. That gets you in the giveaway, and the giveaway is usually a few $100s a month, and we give it away. I can't wait to show you a little bit more about that at the end of the month. Now, let's dive into these stories. New poll just released from Nate Silver. Nate Silver kind of does projections and based on the betting markets when it comes to getting, surveys and poll. Meaning he kind of goes to where you put your money, where your mouth is kind of thing. Well, his odds show that Trump has a 61 to 38.7% chance of winning the electoral college vote for the election. Now, what that means is this. He's saying in the big picture that the probability of the electoral college being won is 61% Trump, 38.7% Harris. Now, it's the exact opposite in the popularity vote. It's kind of like the endorsement last week with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has like 240 million followers, all right? Take out the fact that some of those are not American. Say only half of those are American, 120 million. Then you say, okay, how many of those are already liberal families or people who vote for her typically? Probably 60 million. Well, how many are kids? All right, 30 million. And so you start narrowing it down to ultimately the 20 or 30 million people that she may have impacted. She may have picked up another 2 or 3 or 4,000 votes, or another 10,000 votes or 15,000 votes based on probability, because most of those people were already Kamala Harris supporters. Okay, so what I'm saying is for those big areas like California, New York, and those places, it doesn't matter how many extra popular votes that Kamala gets, it's not going to help her because the Electoral College is what decides our presidency. It's kind of like Mississippi. Mississippi is going to vote Trump. So our votes, yes, they do matter and we need to vote. But when it comes down to the individual vote, it really comes down to about 500 to 1,000 people in certain counties across the nation. So that's why the Electoral College is huge. And so when Nate Silver comes out and says, he's going to win the Electoral College, who cares about the popular vote? Who cares what mega movie star she's got coming to push her? Because those same mega movie stars are the same people. It's kind of like the echo chambers. It's kind of like preaching to the choir. Those are not helping her. Kind of like Donald Trump got RFK and Tulsi Gabbard. That was two extreme difference. That wasn't speaking to the echo chambers or to the choir. It was two new people, which brought in newer voters, which made for those newer votes to add to maybe some struggling areas that he could pick up for electoral college votes. All those things have put into this projection model to show that Trump is pretty much a shoo-in to win unless something major happens, because the electoral college vote is looking like it's going towards Trump. So that's huge. That's what we want to keep on hammering on. It's like last night, Kamala did a Pennsylvania interview. And oh my gosh, it's horrendous. Go back and watch her interview where they have to kind of talk about issues. It's horrible again. It shows that she is not good to be the leader. And that kind of goes into the situation where the Democrats and Harris and Biden, they keep pushing to get Trump's tariffs and his plan to lower the tax on Americans, which makes perfect sense, and raise the tax on importers and things outside of America. Well, you know, all these Democrats are saying, oh, that's a terrible policy. It's going to make people have to pay more because the consumers, consumers are always going to pay higher than anything because that's the point of the game of capitalism, and do you abuse it or not? But I do think this is funny. Just yesterday, Biden and Harris hit Temu and Shein with Trump-esque tariffs. That was a Zero Hedge article, and it talked about how Trump's push to do exactly this was dogged out by Biden, Harris, and the Democrats. However, once they probably started looking at it, they're like, holy crap, this is a very good deal. We should look at this. You know, Temu and Shein and all these are absolutely great pricing. But what you don't realize is the information they're getting from you, and also the fact that they're doing it because they have an unfair advantage. Maybe how they treat their laborers, how they do the things they do, and how we've let them lax on policies and on tax and on tariffs for so long. They've abused the American system to where American jobs and American manufacturing can't get off the ground because we allow all these Chinese imports to come in for literally pennies on a dollar. Well, they all of a sudden back the fact that Trump's tariff thing might be a good thing and we should embrace it. That's exactly what they did. So what this proves is a billionaire who has worked his whole life in the private sector and understand how to make money no more than some politicians who's never worked in the private sector other than just being public servants. I laugh at that term public servants every time I say it because public servants should be the people who serve their people. However, that's not what we get when it comes to the ruling class, the political class. So I think it's funny about the tariff thing, and I think that the more that Trump throws out policies and they dog out but then turn around and embrace, it's good. It shows what the truth is. Even though they're talking out of one side of their mouth, they're still putting tariffs on the imports just like Trump said. It's huge. Now let's move on to the next story. When I said Dollar General and Ferraris, what do they have in common? They have in common with the fact of showing exactly what is happening to our economy. Now, what did I say yesterday about the melt-up and the day before about the melt-up? If you hadn't watched the last 2 days' videos, you need to go back and watch them. Dollar General is struggling, which means Main Street economies, Main Street America is struggling. However, Ferrari's business, Louis Vuitton's business, all these higher-end merchandisers, all this higher-end merchandise when you come into buying, only the richest of the rich can afford, their business is up. They have profits unbelievable this year. Their percentages of sales are up. Why is that the case? Because you're seeing a reverse market crash or a melt up. You're seeing the fact that when government puts in piles of money into the economy, it doesn't matter who they give it to, they know it's going to ultimately float up to the top, and the top ends up getting all this fun. Now, not only that, the more money that we allow into the stock market, we think, oh, it's good because we're growing a lot of businesses. Well, let's look at our stock market. Our stock market is ran by just a few firms, and it's on the backs of about 7 or 8 businesses that are thriving right now. Those hedge funds that help kind of navigate the monies that come in, the major money that's coming in from the Fed, the fact that these big major player banks are the ones kind of leading the charge when it comes to these businesses too. They sit on tons of boards of all these businesses when it comes to the Fortune 100, the Fortune 500 in the stock market. What happens is they set policy, they set precedent. They also have ties to the government. The government inflates money and puts money back into the system. It inflates terribly, which makes for people on Main Street not to be able to make money and not to be able to actually afford the goods. However, what that money does is when you spend it, it goes right to the top, floats up, and ultimately goes in the hands of the richest. It's all just a Ponzi scheme, people. And what happens is when you see the fact that Dollar Generals and Big Lots and Walmarts are struggling when it comes to people paying into them. Their businesses are multi-billion-dollar businesses. Well, Big Lots is not. They just filed bankruptcy. But, you know, Walmart will be there. Dollar General will shut down tons of stores, but they'll be there too. The point of what I'm saying, though, is people are not able to purchase their goods. But the Ferraris are selling like hot commodities. That shows that we are in a broken system. You know what else that shows? That shows there will be no middle class. Colby, how could you say that? I've heard that for years. That's not true. It is very much true. What you're seeing right now is the fact that the middle class is faltering to become lower class, the working class. Now, is there anything wrong with being the working class? Not at all. But we're being held down and we're being taken out of the middle class all because they've inflated our economy to a point where they said it's good. It's actually not good. It's caused the inflation of money, which is cause for the inflation of goods, which means it's going to take more of those dollars to pay for those goods. I always laugh because it seems like people are bringing in more money. The average median wage is going up, but so is the cost of goods. So if your salary is going up 2 to 4 to 6% per year since 2020, the goods are going up 15, 16, 18, 20% per year for those same goods. So you can't catch up. So therefore, even though you're making more money, you're in a net negative. It blows people's mind when I say that, but really it does not matter the money that you make. It's how you spend your money. So if the money you're spending is frivolous because of you, or it's frivolous because of government spending, or it's frivolous because the goods are in supply and demand shortage, therefore it doesn't matter the money you make, it's the money you spend. So therefore, we're in the same situation where Dollar Generals are faltering, closing doors, and Ferraris are being purchased at record pricing. It's going to keep on happening when the fact of the market is led by just a few companies. It's going to keep on happening with the government spending more money and that they don't have, and they have to keep printing it. What happens is when that money is printed, it goes to one place, to the very top of Wall Street. They may filter it through you, but guess what? You don't hold on to it. You spend it. You may be bad with money, or you may just need some food or some goods or pay off debt. Either way, it's going to rise to the top. So all the frivolous spending ends up being money in the pockets of the rich. Pay attention to this. This is what I think, again, politicians are politicians. No matter what, there's bad leadership on both sides. But you cannot tell me that there's a better heart in Trump when it comes to seeing better for local economy, seeing better for the American people than what Kamala's plan is. Go back from 2016 to 2019. I know I sound like a broken record, but your economy was better than 21 to 24. Take 2020 out, no matter what, because it was a COVID year, it was a year of craziness, pandemonium. Let's talk about the last 24 months. Last 24 months of Trump, last 24 months of Biden-Harris. Same thing. Your economy was better under Trump. And now he's telling you lower taxes, more tariffs, which, again, Kamala has already embraced parts of that. He's saying, also, make sure that we do America First policies instead of Asia First, or Africa First, or Middle East First, or wherever country you want to say, Mexico First. We look at Americans first. That's all America wants, is to focus on Americans. And I think that would make us prosper. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Again, huge news for Trump today. Also, the fact that Kamala is embracing Trump policies, and the fact that we are losing the middle class, all because of bad economics. We need to pay attention to that. Remember, like I said yesterday, and like I say all the time, don't want you to forget it. You have to prepare for these things, not because I'm trying to scare you, but because it's real and things are happening around you. The market is not getting better. The number may go up, but you have 6 or 7 companies running that. If one company falters, the market falters. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Your best prep, of course, is always spiritually prepping, seeking Christ through all that we go through, and making sure that you are doing all you can to raise your family the best way possible. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless.